All right, y'all. Welcome back into the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Ryan, here with my brother Matthew, and we are recording this the day after the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. It was a near sweep. Things kind of fell apart towards the end of the Glasnow start, but nonetheless, frankly, it's a big series win. It is the most intense I've seen a regular season atmosphere in a long time, which I think was honestly really fun to watch. It felt good. The Yankees fans were on edge like crazy, which made everything feel really cool. Really great performances from some, really lackluster performances from other. But we're here to talk about it all. Matt, how we doing? How we feeling after the series?
Yeah, so very, huge series, very fun series. I think sometimes fans get too riled up and they're like, I think where they go wrong is when they're like, okay, we're gonna see what we're made of. If we lose, then we're in trouble. It's like, no, it's not. It's one series in June.
Yeah.
But to me, I think in big atmospheres like this, and not like any like Dodger pod, like this is a different type of atmosphere. In these type of games, I think there's only two things that I actually look for. Number one is pitchers, especially guys who have yet to like pitch in the postseason, and like because pitching with the atmosphere, with the talk, when you hear the crowd, your adrenaline just naturally goes up. So like for Yoshi, for Stone, these guys have never really pitched in the postseason. I know Yoshi pitched in the WBC in Japan, but the MLB is a little different. So that's one thing to look for. The other thing is if a guy is like really hot and like they're hitting 400 the past 10 games or like 20 games, and then suddenly as soon as the big series, then they just put up a stinker. I think that's the other thing that's important. So like Mookie, Otani, Freeman didn't do good this series, but they've been struggling as a whole. So I'm not looking at it as like, oh, they struggle in the big series. To me, that's not a big thing. Only if you were like red hot and then suddenly you're bad this series, the next series you're good. So I don't think that applied to any Dodgers. The pitching was great besides Glass now. I was happy. I think, I don't know how you feel. I think it's good. I mean, we both kind of said, okay, the offense is horrible. It's going to continue to be horrible. And to take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees with the offense like that, I thought it was great. I mean, the offense didn't do much in the first game. Teoscar with a double. Yoshinobu dominated, and the staff as a whole was incredible the first 2 games.
Yeah, it was really great. The pitching really showed up. I mean, there's a big asterisk. Well, for me, there's a big asterisk in that it's the regular season. So whatever. But I don't want to diminish how cool it was to watch. It was genuinely a fun series to watch, and I feel like that isn't something that's super prevalent in the regular season for baseball anymore. So that's the one thing. No matter what, it was fun. Two, the actual asterisk, I guess, if you're talking about pitching, is that Juan Soto didn't play. And for the Yankees, again, this is not a Yankees pod, so I won't get into it. Their team is just 2023, but with Juan Soto and Verdugo to be an average hitter, literally. And that's it. Rizzo's been horrible. LeMahieu's been horrible. Their team sucks, if I'm being honest. They've had unbelievable pitching that, if you believe in expected stats, is supposed to come back down to earth a little bit, at least in like the 3 through 5 with Stroman and Cortez. And they've had Judge, who we saw this weekend again be the best hitter on the planet, probably the best player alive right now, honestly, with Shohei not pitching. And Soto, who is the best outfielder in baseball besides Judge, especially with Mookie in the infield. So the Yankees, frankly, this series should have been even better if the Dodgers stars respected themselves at all. Because legitimately, the 4 best players in all of baseball would have been on the field at the same time. But Soto was out, and Shohei might as well have been out. And Mookie had some big hits, but it was in the loss, which felt weird. And then Freddie's kind of just whatever 2024 Freddie is. Yeah, so I guess that's my overall negative slash have to consider it. But yeah, even with that, truly it was a great pitching display. It Stone looked great. Yamamoto looks so good. We're gonna do his own separate video about him, but we're still gonna talk about it here. You talked about looking at specific things in a series, like see if it carries over, like a test. And I think we talked before the series. I said I care about Yamamoto and Glass now, and that was like even because especially because the offense has been so bad that it was like, okay, I don't know how it's gonna play out. but I need Yamamoto to do well, and I need to see what Glasnow does. Yamamoto was frankly incredible. Like the only thing that could have made his game elevate more is if he finished off a couple of those two strike at bats instead of like having pop ups. So he ended up with like 10 Ks. But he was great. His fastball, every single pitcher on the Dodgers fastball except for Glass now was throwing season highs like consistently. Yama in the seventh inning he hit 98. And first of all, he hadn't thrown 98 all season. He had like 15 pitches at 98. It just either they were super hyped up for the series, which is possible and I respect, or the Yankees kind of had this loaded radar gun, I guess. Either way, it was really impressive watching them pitch. I appreciate how often they went after these guys that are actively bad in the Yankees lineup, and they even went after Judge a little bit, which I guess wasn't the smartest thing, but he didn't really kill us. He had a killing us stat line. He didn't have a killing us impact in the game because the rest of his team was so bad that it kind of didn't matter. Like when Johan Ramirez came in game one, and he gave up the single to Judge. A lot of people were upset, obviously, because he brought in a run. But I was like, we probably won the game. Like if Judge didn't hit a home run there, then we were solid. So yeah, I kind of bearing the lead with Teoscar too, which I'll let you go at it with. But yeah, I'm super impressed with the pitching. The hitting, the bottom of the lineup came through pretty consistently, at least getting on base. And Mookie and Mr. Sub 700 OPS in his last 25 games, Shohei Ohtani, really weren't hidden there. But again, that's not a concern for me because I don't expect this to continue for very long.
Yeah, so honestly, the big three was god awful. Teoscar, honestly, there's nothing much to talk about the offense. The only thing to talk about is Teoscar, and we have a video on him, so stay tuned for that. So pitching wise, I want to talk about Stoney, but first, Glass now. I honestly, I don't care. I agree with you. I was looking to see, but he had 12 Ks. I think Pages should have caught that freaking ball. I think he just took Grissom's one of the worst hitters on the planet for granted, and he crushed a fastball.
Yeah.
We were sitting on the couch. As soon as they showed him catch a fly ball, we both said he's hitting a home run in the series. Of course, it had to be a big shot like that. But I mean, you mentioned he was the only one whose velocity didn't ticked up. He was also the only one who pitched on normal rest. I think
Yeah,
that
that is
maybe had
true.
something to do with it. Um, but yeah, I'm not concerned. Again, 12 Ks, only one walk. I think there's pitches he would have had back. He'll be fine. He's one of the best in the sport. Stoney, I was really impressed with because this was probably like a huge start in his career. I don't know if it's his biggest. He didn't pitch in the playoffs. Maybe it was his biggest, and it didn't start out great. He gave up those 2 runs. He gave up the home run to Judge, and then the two little singles in the first. And in your one of your first big starts, when they score twice, in the first 2 innings, it's really easy to just blow up and have a blow up start. And he just put his foot down, and he kept dealing like he has all year. Goes 5 2/3, 6 Ks and 2 runs, and gives us a chance to win the game. Stone. I say it every series recap now. Fall in love with Stone. He's such a hard worker. He works through counts. He's just been great for us. And he's not electric in like his stuff. He's gonna have double digit Ks every time, but he's efficient. He makes the right pitches and he gets outs and he keeps doing it. And he did it in a big series. So yeah, talk to me about Stone. Did you like what you saw?
Yeah, it was an interesting outing to watch because he gave up 8 hits. The first 2 innings, literally the first and second innings, it was single to lead off the inning both times, and he only gave up 1 run in those 2 innings, and then I'll give another one in the third. It was clear. Honestly, I'm really, I'm obviously happy with the way it turned out, but knowing Stone isn't a strikeout guy, and literally fewer Ks per nine than like one an inning. Um, Pitching to contact against a team that doesn't really strike out. Granted, that's with Soto in there and not Grisham every day. But the Yankees don't really strike out a lot. They have a lot of contact guys. They're not hitting him really hard or great, but like Volpe and Verdugo are like kind of slap hitters now. Verdugo being a slap hitter is kind of crazy, but um and they got to him a couple times. It was nice to see him pitching to contact in a like a tiny like hitter friendly environment in a hostile crowd environment, and it's still working out the same way. He kept his composure to the point where it was he was able to work through stuff in the first inning. To Judge, I forget if Judge Wood got on, but either way, it was first and third no outs to start, and Aaron Judge coming up to the plate, and they don't score that inning. That's just this is what I like to see. I love it. That on top of Stone, which again I absolutely loved, and you can get back to him if you want. I want to just say this bullpen is elite. It is crazy how good they've been, and I mean crazy because I don't really understand how they've shoved. Well, I shouldn't say I don't understand because they do this every single year. But this roster shuffle in the bullpen felt the most dire this year than it had in a while. I think probably because of the amount of money we spent in the offseason and just like, everything kind of like feeling like it was crumbling around that $1 billion or whatever. But this bullpen has been unbelievably good, and that is without Brewstar ever throwing a pitch. Joe Kelly's been out for whatever Joe Kelly is. He can be effective, and he's a guy that's in the pen. That's not a DFA guy. Brazier's been out basically the entire year. It's like those are three mainstay arms, and the Dodgers have just been lights out. Like Vestia is truly back to life. It's it's crazy how important he's been. He's the only like 1 inning lefty we have on the entire team. Michael Grove has still been good. We thought he got put in extra innings to be like just the scapegoat of why the offense wasn't scoring. So Grove's going to go extra innings, give up the lead. He didn't. Johan Ramirez has been a crazy revelation. I might actually want to do a video about him. And Anthony Banda as well. Banda can miss the zone, but his 97 sinker slider combo from the left side is crazy. I threw a lot of names at you, Matt. You could take it wherever you want, but I just wanted to say this pitching staff is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean that was my second biggest point, like in bold, is, and frankly, I singled out Vesia. Vesia has been freaking phenomenal. Somewhere along this channel, without even like mentioning it, he went from oh my god, like I don't know what to do, to a 1.2 ERA, who's going 1 1/3 against the heart of the lineup and getting out of it. I mean, absolutely electric. You know, he pumps you up on the mound. He's been phenomenal, and he what we need, the biggest needs was like a lefty in the pen and just someone to get strikeouts in the pen. He's freaking filled that and much more. You got to get Michael Grove. Uh, runner on second, no outs in a tie game in extras, and he got out of it. And you know, I don't think a single Dodger fan said anything because, of course, they all hate him. But you got to give props there. That's a huge out right there. We would have lost the series if he gave up a hit. Just one hit, we lost the series. But yeah, Vessi has been phenomenal. The bullpen's incredible. The pitching staff's incredible, and neither of them are healthy. Neither of them. I mean, two of the most electric arsenals in the entire roster, Brewstar and Bobby, aren't even pitching. So yeah, the pitching's phenomenal. It's gonna be even more phenomenal. It's the Dodgers. You know they're gonna be great when they in the off season they get Glass now. They get Yamamoto. This is all work to the front office, man. Friedman did it again. It's funny switching over from the Lakers to the Dodgers and the difference in the front office.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's like I have genuine blind faith in the Dodgers moves, and it's almost the opposite with the Lakers. But yeah, I don't know how much more you want to say about this series in general, because we do have two player specific videos coming out, um, about like directly referencing this series. So I'll just say in general, I don't think that this series is like a turning point. I wish it were. Shohei still looked incredibly off timing and uncomfortable in the plate. Freddie, I don't even know what to say about Freddie anymore because he is kind of just this. He has some games where it looks into it, like game two, he had a couple legit hits and a couple RBI, and then there's some games where he's swinging threw fastballs and he's like way late on it. Everything feels weird about him this year, if I'm being honest. And still like high eights OPS. He's good. That's kind of just what it is. He's just a really good player. He's not really showing me the. I mean, he's not showing anybody the like three batting 330 type guy. Which batting average isn't everything. Obviously, it's barely anything, but it's a big difference in the way he's approaching the game, or maybe not approaching, but the way the game's coming to him. And maybe it's age, maybe it's I don't know what it is, but it's absolutely different from last year. Mookie, I don't know what to say about him either because he looks the way he does in the playoffs when he's completely out of sorts and just off timing. Like first at bat against Luis Heel, he swung at a horrible. I mean, it was a good pitch, but it's like a slider off the plate, and just stared at a fastball right down the middle. Just grabbed his bat and turned around. Like that's the type of Mookie playoff stuff that when it happens, it's just like it's hard to watch. And yeah, so I don't want to leave this with negativity, but I mean the top four, the most important players on the team, didn't look great again. So I'm not gonna think that they're gonna go play the Rangers and the Royals next, and all of a sudden we're back on track. So that's personally where I'm at. What do you think in terms of takeaways, like for towards the future?
It's just we see when those superstars start playing good. They've been god awful. I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
The pitch, the offense has been horrible. The pitching and Teoscar Hernandez has been incredible. That's the Dodgers right now.
yeah, it's not great. It's really not good actually. Sorry, I'm kind of stalling because I'm looking. Nobody in the top four of our lineup has an OPS over 850 in the last 25 games. Freddie and Mookie are in the low eights, but other than that, that's it. Yeah, it's just not good. That nothing has been going on from them, and that's like top four every single game. You're basically batting Alex Verdugo 4 times in your top four. That's not what we're paying for. But
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, frankly, it's like, and we're 41 and 25, and it's not like we're like, okay, let's see if Paz gets hot. It's like, no, it's the best catcher, best first baseman, best DH, best second baseman, shortstop in the league. They're gonna get hot like they were earlier in the year.
Yeah,
That's the difference between the Dodgers, the Phillies, and the Yankees. Why they have a better record. The Yankees have the two best hitters on the planet right now. We used to have the two best hitters on the planet, and we probably will in July maybe. So it's just when the hell is it gonna happen? Once it happens, we'll have like a 25 1 month or something crazy, and then it's just full faith in the front office, full faith in the development. I have faith in Roberts. Let's see if they hit in the playoffs. That's the whole thing with the Dodgers.
yep. Tale as old as time. But for now, be on the lookout for those two Yoshi and Teoscar videos coming out. Otherwise, go Dodgers. Playing the Rangers in a couple days. Playing the Royals in a couple days. Royals actually a really good team this year, so it'll be more challenges coming up. Yeah, talk to y'all soon. Peace.